Good evening. Good afternoon. Good afternoon, my brothers and my sisters. Brother Billy. Brother Billy is here. He is back again by the grace and mercy of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. Coming to you with another live. Want to talk to you about what's on my mind um this afternoon. Briefly, I'm trying to be a little brief. Brother Billy gonna try to be brief, but he want to talk to you, but just for a few minutes. My internet been acting up. I don't know what's going on. We switch internet service and still, this still ain't good. Still is not good. I can see it look like I'm lagging, but we're gonna try to get through it anyway. I need a good internet service because had Spectrum. That wasn't good. Got Farmers. Ain't working out too good either. I need some high speed. But anyway, I wanna briefly talk about um President Trump was right about a lot of things. I want to hit on that real quick. President Trump, he was right about a lot of things. And and before I get to that, let's talk about Well, this camera thing is really acting crazy today. Has this lag on it. But before we get to Trump was right about a lot of things, y'all heard about the cocaine in the White House? They found cocaine. They call it the West Wing part of the White House. Cocaine is in the White House. And everybody trying to wonder, and you know, they wondering, how did it get there? Who brought it in? Where did it come from? Where did this cocaine come from? Cocaine in the White House. Crack cocaine found in the they call it the West Wing. From my understanding, this is a very high level security place, part of the White House. In other words, this is, see if I can fix this camera. This is not this is a part of the White House, I'm told, where you got to have some security clearance to get up in there. Any and everybody just don't be walking up in there, that part of the White House. But they found some crack cocaine up in there, and you know, ain't people trying to figure out where the crack cocaine come from. We got the FBI, the Secret Service, we got all these high level um departments, and they can't figure out how that crack cocaine got up in there. Now, I have no kind of FBI, CIA background. I can about tell you how it got up in there. I can give you a good guess. Hunter Biden. what people thinking? If I had to make a good guess, Hunter Biden brought it up in there. Why would you can't judge, you can't how the Saints get, you can't judge. If I had to make a good guess, that would be my guess, that Hunter Biden brought cocaine in the White House. That'll be my guess. Now you let that been found in the White House under the Trump administration. My God, the media would be going berserkle. Impeach him, impeach, 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 impeach. But it's found in the White House under Joe Biden administration. And hey, that ain't no big deal. That's not a big deal. That's how it got there. I believe Hunter Biden. Why would you say that, Brother Billy? Because of that clip I played last week. I mean, just look at this right here. You just look at this here. And then tell me who you think brought that up in the White House. Look at that right there. This is Hunter Biden. That's Joe Biden. Hunter Biden is Joe Biden's son. Let me play a little bit of this right here and look what Hunter Biden. You can about tell what he's doing just by looking at that thing right there.
Piece of crack cocaine.
Yeah,
no bigger than this quarter.
Look at that. You see what Hunter doing? Hunter is smoking crack cocaine on video. And everybody trying to figure out how they get in the White House. Oh Lord, boy. I ain't gonna play no more of that, but you this a little bit more.
Quarter of $1.
See that right? Look
we passed a law through the leadership of Senator Thurmond and myself and others.
Hunter Biden.
A law that says if you're caught with that, you smoking go to jail
crack cocaine
for 5 years.
And they were trying to figure out how to get there. That's why Brother Billy said Hunter Biden. Hunter Biden. Somebody. Okay. That's just crazy. That's absolutely crazy. Wondering how the crack cocaine get up in there, and Joe Biden's son on video smoking crack cocaine, and we wondering and scratching our head, wonder how that crack cocaine got in the White House. Are you that? His son on video smoking crack cocaine. Joe Biden is the president. And we wondering how did crack cocaine get in the White House. Lord have mercy. But let it be Trump up under his presidency. Oh boy. Okay. Enough of that. I want to get to my little man stuff because I'm not going to be on here long. I want to lay out something to show you that President Donald Trump was right about a lot of things. The man was dead on, spot on, almost like a I don't even say that because people get mad, almost like a prophet. He was right about a lot of things. But the problem is people got, boy, the media done messed people up. Boy, the media done got people messed up. Because the media done got, I'm talking saints now. The media got the saints not even able to have good discernment. That's not good. I was in a little Bible study yesterday, and somebody brought up something about President Trump, and it's just the thing that amazes me is we have such a bias against President Trump that most people can't set aside their bias to judge righteously. They can't set aside how they personally feel to judge righteously. We got to be able to set aside personal feelings and make a righteous judgment about things. And I found with Donald J. Trump, that's hard for a lot of people to do. That's how I feel a lot. Even the saints can't give the man credit for things that he have done because they personally dislike him. I personally dislike Donald Trump. I mean, not Donald Trump. I personally dislike Barack Obama. But I still would give him credit for where credit is due, even though I personally dislike him. Because that's just the right thing to do. But I find with Donald Trump, President Donald Trump, boy, you got to pull tooth and nail to get people to admit or say anything good about what he has done as president. And in this regard, some of the things that he has said or got right. And so we was in this little thing and saying something about I mentioned something about this, how the swamp. Trump was right about the swamp. He was right about the swamp. He used to always talk about the swamp. Draining the swamp. Draining the swamp. And I said, he was right about the swamp. And then somebody gave a remark and said something about politicians, but about I don't remember the exact remark, but they just said they made a general statement about all politicians. And I'm like, but was the man right about draining the swamp? That's what I'm saying to myself. Now, was he right about the swamp? Not throwing in all politicians. Was the man right about what he said about the swamp? Yes, he was. But again, people, instead of giving the man credit about something, lump everybody together, every politician, all of them bad, all of them evil, all of them going to hell in a handbasket. That's how I see it is with as it relates to Donald Trump. People have a very hard time giving him credit. But I'm gonna go through this list real quick, and I ain't gonna be with you long, and show you that the man was right. He was right about a lot of stuff. This statements by Donald J. Trump, 45th President of the United States of America. And let's go through this list of some of the things the man was right about. Have you noticed that they are not admitting I was right about everything they lied about before the election? This is Donald Trump. Donald Trump had put this statement out. It's this tweet. And he just listed some of the things he was right about before the election that they lied about. And many of you believe a lot of these lies that were told and spoken before the election when Donald Trump was saying and telling us something totally different. Let's look at some of these things real quick. Look at that right there. Hydroxychloroquine works. You remember that hydroxychloroquine? Hard for me to say that. You remember that? You remember when that first came out? One of the things I remember vividly is Trump trying to get people to take horse dewormer. That's what they were saying about hydroxy. He trying to tell people to take horse dewormer. And now there are which before all these the research been done, they already know this was one of the most effective drugs on the market. Now, as it relates to COVID, it's now been proven because they have now did tests. They have now had some things done where they have tested this thing and they can prove now that it is effective against COVID. Well, Trump was saying that back then, but they did not let that come out. Why? Because they didn't want none of y'all taking that. They wanted you getting the jab. They didn't want you taking nothing alternative. They want you taking that jab. Because if you find out that hydroxy, that works, well, I'm going to go take hydroxy. I ain't taking this thing y'all just rolled out and ain't nobody know much about it. Anybody with common sense would have done that. If they were pushing that the way they were pushing that jab, how many people would have took the jab versus hydroxychloroquine, something that been out on the market for years? If I was going to take anything, that's what I would have done. Sure, not that vaccine that they just rolled out. But he said it works. That's what he was saying. They call him the conspiracy, pushing false, this, false, that. He gonna get people killed because that's horse dewormer. That's the kind of stuff the media was telling people about some of the things President Donald Trump told us before the election. Some of the things he spoke and told us, he was dead on right. But many of us, because our personal feelings and because of our lack of discernment, we listen to the media. You listen to the media. But he said it works. And if there's evidence, scientific facts right now, that it does work against the COVID virus, hydroxychloroquine. Some other statements Donald Trump made about that he was right about. You remember the virus came from the lab? You know, he used to call it the China virus. I love to hear him say that. And they got mad at him. Why you call it the China virus? Some of the reporters asked Donald Trump, why you call it the China virus? You know, that's being racist. They call him a racist because he's calling it the China virus. He said very simple, because it came from China. It came from China. That's why he called it the China virus. Well, we got evidence. We got facts. We got the data, the scientific data. We got sure enough pure evidence that this thing did not occur in no wet market like they told us, but it came as a result of a lab leak in Wuhan, China. That's the evidence right now. But all that was suppressed, and that was a conspiracy theory, and none of that took place, and Trump just spreading misinformation. You know that misinformation? That's just misinformation, disinformation, just bad information he's putting out there, just trying to scare people, and he's just a xenophobe. But the man was right, because now all of the evidence is pointing towards the fact that it did occur or happen and leaked out of the Wuhan lab in China. That's the evidence. He was right again. What else was he right about? Look at this right here. Remember this? Hunter Biden's laptop was real. You remember the laptop? Trump called it the laptop from hell. Hunter Biden's laptop was real. You remember Hunter Biden's laptop that he took to this repair shop, and I guess he got it high on that crack cocaine we've been showing, and forgot about it and then went and picked it up. He dropped off a laptop and didn't go back and pick it up. And so the man, took personal ownership of it after a while, because he pretty much abandoned it. And so the man, this laptop repairman, ended up getting, seeing some things on this thing that was very disturbing as it relates to Hunter Biden. But you know what the FBI did and told us? That's Russian disinformation. Oh, that's Russian disinformation. That stuff ain't real. That laptop ain't real. That's fake news. That stuff is not even real. That's what they told us. That's what they told us about the laptop. It was not real. That was Russian disinformation. Well, they knew at that time, them liars, they knew that that laptop was real. They knew that the information, the things contained on that laptop was real, and they knew that laptop belonged to Hunter Biden. They knew that. Yet they fed us that it was disinformation. It was Russian disinformation. So don't pay that stuff no attention. And they also knew, had this got out, this was right around the time of the election. Had that truth got out that Trump was right about, think that could have had an effect on the election? That Joe Biden is, and his son Hunter Biden is in collusion with Russia? The man they told y'all was in the collusion, President Trump, turned out to be Joe Biden and his son, the one colluding, doing backdoor deals with communists, our arch enemy. But he told us, President Trump told us, and he was right. Media told us Russian disinformation. We believed it. Look at this Lafayette Square. I had to look that thing up because I didn't really remember that. But that Lafayette Square was just basically when Trump took a picture in front of a church. This church he had took a picture in front of this church. I got a picture of it. I got a right here. See that right there? Trump, that's that Lafayette Square. He did it in front of the St. John's Church. And they were saying that he cleared out everybody. He made everybody clear out, so he can do a photo op. And they proved they proved that was a lie by the media. The media pushed that as a lie. He didn't do what they said he did. Drive all the people out there so he can get in front of this church and hold up a Bible like he is a preacher man. But he didn't do that. The media lied. And he was right about what he said, that he didn't do that. But that, even this picture right here, that's a powerful picture right there now. That's a powerful picture. And I look at the actions of this man versus him just holding up a Bible, because anybody can hold up a Bible. But I'm looking at the actions, the laws that he got behind and he pushed and he got passed and got abortion overturned. Roe v. Wade got that overturned, sent back to the states where it always should have been. I mean, all of the laws he passed to protect Christian rights. I mean, I look at stuff like that and be like, this man was a God sent, in my humble opinion. He was definitely a God sent. But because of people's personal opinion, personal feelings, they can't get with him. They can't get with him because of how they personally feel. But you got Joe Biden them and being Antichrist, and we would rather be with them than somebody who trying to do what lines up with our biblical worldview. That's crazy. That's beyond me. Let's look at a couple more things. A few more things on here you was right about. What about the Russian bounty story was fake? You remember the Russia collusion? Russia. Trump was right about the Russia collusion. that there was no Russian collusion. But they fed that to us for over 3 years. That there was a that Trump colluded with Russia. That's what they told us for over 3 years. They had special counsels. I mean, we done had 2 special counsels. And none of them found nothing about Trump colluding with Russia. What they did found that the Democratic Party colluded with Russia. Hillary Clinton colluded with Russia. The DNC colluded with Russia. With the fake Steele dossier and all that. They the one colluded with Russia. The man told us from the get-go he didn't collude with Russia. All of the evidence was pointing towards any reasonable thinking person that, nah, he didn't collude with Russia. But because of how people personally feel, people took the bait. People went with the narrative that they were fed instead of using biblical, spiritual discernment to see what is true, what is right, what is going on. We didn't do that because I don't like him. So yeah, he colluded with Russia. He was right, and you were wrong. Give credit to the man. He was right about that. Now this one right here, I ain't too happy about. We produced vaccines before the end of 2020 in record time. You know, this Operation Warp Speed. Now that's this one down the list that I just can't pat him on the back for. This, I think he needs to stop patting himself on the back for this, because that thing has turned out to be not good. So I don't think, in my personal opinion, that's one thing he should stop patting himself on the back about. In my personal opinion. Now, one thing I hold Donald Trump at fault about is patting himself on the back for producing this vaccine in record time. I just don't. That's something he don't need to be patting himself on the back about, in my personal opinion. Why you say that, Brother Billy? Well, I'm gonna tell you why I say that. Because it's like this statement I heard somebody made. The statement goes something like, how they made this? How they say that thing? COVID. The vaccine was not made for COVID. COVID was made for the vaccine. Some kind of way like that. It's like almost in a sense that this miracle vaccine was produced, manufactured, ready before we even had COVID. Yeah. That's why you were able to get something in produce that generally takes 7, 10, years. That's how long these things generally, under normal circumstances, that's how long they take. 7, 10, over 7 to 10 years. That's the normal time. And you're going to get one done in some months? Well, I think it was like 9 months or something like that. It was a very short time. Think about that. Something that generally takes 10 years to do. Generally, under normal circumstances, it takes about 10 years to get a vaccine approved under normal circumstances. They got one done under Trump, which he touts himself about, which I don't think he should be doing, under about 9 months. That's why I say the vaccine was not made for COVID. COVID was made for the vaccine. In my personal opinion, they already had that thing ready. They just had to roll out COVID. Y'all hear that? Now, this will get me kicked off these platforms, but hey, in my opinion, the vaccine was already ready. They just had to roll out COVID to get people in line to take it. I mean, how else can you explain them getting this thing done, something that normally takes 10 years? They got it done in about 9 months. So prayers, you know you my man, but you should take this and scratch this one off your list. Don't be bragging about how you produced this thing in this record time. Because in my opinion, that was not good. That's not a good thing. Because I think they probably use you to get that rolled out. You ain't got that done, President Trump. You want to take credit for it now, but you ain't did that. That was already in the making, prayers. Yes, it was. That's Brother Billy's humble opinion. Okay, some other things Trump was right about. And I'm almost finished. You remember the schools should be open? This is dealing with the COVID too. You shouldn't have them schools shut down like that because there's gonna be some problems. Well, now they got, research and data and all that stuff coming up now, showing how the kids have been set back in their learning and all this stuff because of them school closings. All that stuff they did under COVID. You recognize, now that you look back, do you not see that COVID transformed not just America, the entire world? Do you not recognize the impact, the shift that thing had on the world? And none of it was good. None of it was good. It was a major demonic, satanic, in my opinion, shift when COVID was introduced. Now, I tell you right then, it wasn't from God. It had nothing to do with God. Because ain't nothing but pure evil came out of that thing. Pure evil. And they started shutting down the schools. They locked down businesses. They wouldn't let you go to work. They told you unless you had an essential this and essential that, they just locked down everything because of a doggone virus. A virus. They're going to shut down the whole world over a virus with cold and flu-like symptoms for the majority of the people who got it. Y'all just sit back and think about that. And it had people, just in a frenzy. Church folks in a frenzy. Church folks scared to hug grandma, scared to hug mama, scared to hug their own churn. Just terrified, petrified. The preachers shut down the church because God give us common sense. They shut the churches down. We go on Zoom. We doing this thing live. We can't meet because that virus is killing people. That's where all our power is supposed to be at the church, right? In the church. Ain't that where the power is supposed to be at? To heal the sick. If you're gonna find it anyway, you should be able to find it in the church. They shut the door. You been sick with COVID, you had to go somewhere else. You couldn't go to the church because they've been closed down. Because God give us common sense. COVID shifted the entire world. There was a global shift when that thing was introduced. We gave Satan a major victory, whether we know it or not. We gave him a major stronghold, whether we know it or not. Now, the thing is now, when this next wave come, what have we learned? Would we have learned something from how we cowardly submitted to authoritarian government. Are we gonna learn something? That we got some God-given rights. Preachers, you gonna learn something? If another virus come around, that you ain't gonna shut the door of the church. When you constantly preach and tell people, forget not the assembly of yourselves together as a manner of some ought. That's what you preached before COVID. COVID shows up. God gave us common sense. We need to. There's a such thing as a good rebellion. There's a such thing as a good. All rebellion ain't bad. There's such thing as good rebellion. If I rebel against evil, that's good. If I rebel against wickedness, if I rebel against tyranny, that's good. That's a good thing. To rebel against God is bad. To rebel against a wicked, evil government, that is a good thing. But see, we use these scriptures out of context, about Romans talks about, submit yourself to the powers and authorities and all that stuff, but to the government. And preachers just use that and go to town with you. Yeah, you got to do what the government say. Not if they tell you something that goes against the word of God. I'd rather obey God than man. I'd rather obey God than man. Okay, so he was right about the schools. He was right about the them schools. I must have skipped this one, but the blue state lockdowns didn't work. Because the lockdown, they didn't work either. It didn't stop the spread. You remember the 15 days and we'll be back to normal? That's all we needed was 15 days. Lock you down for 15 days and we'll be back to normal. In my personal opinion, Prayers was dupe on that too. He shouldn't have gone along with that. You see, Anthony Fauci turned out to be a devil, a wicked, lying devil. Dr. Anthony Fauci. He was the one feeding him and that Dr. Birch. They were the one feeding Prayers this information. I mean, he kind of responsible because he was the president. He had to listen at them, but he did. He was in a catch-22. I would admit that, because if he didn't listen and did his own little thing, my God, they would have been putting all them deaths on him. See them schools, he wouldn't lock down. Look, this one, they would have put all that on him. But Prayers, they didn't like you to start off with. They were gonna blame you either way it go. You were gonna get blamed. You shouldn't have locked down the country. You shouldn't go along with that either, Prayers. But I bet he won't do it again. I think he done learned his lesson. Okay, critical race theory is a disaster for our school and our country. Prayers was right about the critical race theory, CRT they call it, where you teaching little boys and girls that they are inherently racist because of the color of their skin. And white people, they racist because they white. And black people are suppressed because they black. That's just the way it is. Y'all just gonna be suppressed. And white people just racist because they white. Not because they've been taught to be racist. No. They ain't racist because a white person ain't racist because their parents was racist and taught them to be a racist. Taught them to dislike a person based on the color. No. They inherently racist. They racist because they white. Now, if you believe that, you got some serious issue going on. You got some serious issues going on. But that's what the Democratic Party, the far left, that's what they teach and preach. That's what they push. And Trump was right. That's a disaster. That's insanity. That goes against Christian principles. That goes against the Bible. Ain't nobody inherently racist because of the color of their skin. I often say there's some black people just as racist, and some are more racist than white people. Ain't got nothing to do with no color, no skin. It's a sin problem. It's a sin issue. Black folks act like white people are the only one racist. That bothers me right there, because that shows you ain't being you're not being righteous in your judgment. Like black people are immune from being racist. No, black people not. There's some racist black people. You ever listen at the Black Hebrew Israelites? Listen at them. Listen at some Black Hebrew Israelites that be standing on the street corner up in New York and Chicago and all them places. Listen at some of them. And you gonna tell me just white people are racist? What are you smoking? What are you smoking to be making these crazy statements and going along with that wickedness? Yeah, there are some white people that are racist, and there's some black people that are racist. Just call out the racist in whoever it is found. You don't label no entire race of people racist because of the color of their skin. That is so ungodly. And all these Black Hebrew Israelites that do that, y'all some lying devils. You are a lying devil to label an entire race of people as racist simply because of the color of their skin, and that God hate them because of the color. You are a lying devil. You are a lying devil. You do not have the love of God in your heart, because that is not from God. For God so loved the world, he gave his only begotten son. That ain't just God so loved Israel that he died. And I'm going to teach on that. I told y'all I'm going to teach on that. I'm going to expose that lie. I'm going to expose that lie. Okay. Let's move on. I'm about to get off of here. What else he talked about? The school should be open. He was right about the school. The school should have been open. They should have opened them schools back up, but they refused to do it. I pretty much done hit on that. Critical race theory, I talked about that. It was just a disaster. And the Southern Border Security Program was unprecedented successful. That's a fact right there. President Trump was right about the border, y'all. He was right about what he said and what he did about our border. And just as soon as Joe Biden got in office, what did Joe Biden do? He suspended the building of the wall. As soon as Joe Biden got in there, that's what he did. Suspended the building of the wall. Why? Obviously, because he wants those illegals to keep pouring in the country. Why would he want that? Well, in my humble opinion, because of power. What do you mean? Because of those illegal people coming in here and they are sympathetic to the Democratic Party, they vote for the Democratic Party. That's a lot of votes. That's a lot of votes. Now, I can tell you right now, if those people that have been coming in here been leaning conservative, Republican, you best believe that border will be shut off. I heard they had turned around a bunch of Africans was trying to come up in here. I did hear that one time. They turned a lot of Africans around, sent them back. But them Hispanics and all them others, they let them come in by the droves. And Trump was right about our southern border. And another thing I think going on with this southern border with all these young kids stuff coming in here, this movie probably got something to do with this movie that just came out. Jim Caviezel. I forgot. Something like Bounds or something like that. It's this new movie that just came out. Jim Caviezel in it, but it has to do with sex trafficking. exposing sex trafficking with young, the young people. That's, in my opinion, another reason why they want all these young people to be flooding up in here. Because we dealing with some wicked folks. We dealing with some wicked folks. But Trump was right about the southern border. And he did a really good job about keeping illegal immigrants out of here illegally. But they spend that thing every which way but loose. They spent it, they spend it, they spend it. He's a racist. He's against black and brown folks. That's why he don't want them to come in here, because he's a racist. No, he didn't want them to come in here because they needed to come in here the right way. And the man was right. The man was also right. I ain't got this enough. And I'm gonna end on this. He was also right about January 6th. I remember January 6th. Perez was right about January 6th. The media lied about January 6th. They lied to us. Many of us, we took the bait of the lie. Many of us took the bait of the lie the media told us about January 6th. Some of y'all still believe it was an insurrection. You still believe that the lie. But the media, they spun that and made you believe a lie. One of the reasons I did this, I just want to really show people, it's amazing to me how many lies they told people and people believe them lies. And some people still believe them to this day. That's really what I want to show you, is just how much the media lied to you about the things they told you about President Donald Trump and some of the things he did. And show you they 100% lied to you. They 100% lied to you. And some people are still, because of their personal feelings towards somebody, towards the man, they still hold on to some of them lies. That's a travesty. And that's very, very dangerous, like I always say. Because there's a much greater lie and deception coming. And if you can't set aside your personal feelings to accept and receive truth and what is right, you don't understand how dangerous that is. See, I know y'all thinking, oh, this is all about Trump. No. It's about right. If somebody's right, they just right. I don't care who they are. If somebody is wrong, they are just wrong. I don't care who they are. You set aside your personal feelings and you embrace right and righteousness. If the man was right about what he said and what he did, and the media lied, give the man his props that he was right, the media lied, and you were wrong. Can you admit that? Humble yourself and admit, yeah, I was wrong about that. They lied about the January 6th. I'm gonna close with the January 6th. I just want to show you this. I want to show you how they deceive you with January 6th. Can I just show you this real quick? Just show you how you were deceived with what they said about this insurrection. That was an insurrection. It was an insurrection. Now, watch how they lie. Now, you got to listen at this close. See, the Bible tells us to be wise as serpents, harmless as doves. You got to be wise. You got to be watchful and prayerful and listen. Now, watch this right here. I want to show you this here. Listen at what they said, how they say this, and I'm gonna point out to you what they took out to spin this narrative that they wanted this to be an insurrection. They clipped the video. That's what they did. Listen at this. Now, this is NBC. Listen.
Now it is up to Congress to confront this egregious assault on our democracy. And after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you. We're going to walk down. We're going to walk down anyone you want, but I think right here we're going to walk down to the Capitol, and we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. And we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them.
Remember, this is NBC.
Because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength and you have to be strong.
See that? That's NBC. That's where they cut it. You ain't going to take back the country with weakness. You got to be strong. We going down to the Capitol. I'm going with you. They're spinning a narrative by clipping the video. You got to be wise, folks. Let me show you the why they clip it right there. Wonder why they clipped the video right there. Now let me pull this one up. I want you to listen at this. Now watch this. This is the same video, but they clipped the video because what he said we going down to the Capitol peacefully and patriotically, and we're going to let our voices be heard. We're going down to the Capitol peacefully and patriotically. Why did NBC clip the video for that part come out? Why did they do that? Because they are deceivers. They are devils. They're liars. They've been lying to you, and you've been eating up a lot of them lies, believing them lies. Why? Because of your personal feelings. Now watch watch this.
Now it is up to Congress to confront this egregious assault on our democracy. And after this, we're going to walk down, and I'll be there with you.
Same video.
We're going to walk down. We're going to walk down anyone you want, but I think right here we're going to walk down to the Capitol. And we're going to cheer on our brave senators and congressmen and women. And we're probably not going to be cheering so much for some of them. Because you'll never take back our country with weakness. You have to show strength, and you
see remember that's where NBC just let's cut it. Cause why? Because what he's saying right now can be spun to fit the narrative we want to push that he's encouraging is insurrection. That many of you still believe. With all of the evidence out now, you still believe that. Shame on you. Now listen, why they clip it? Because they didn't want you to hear this part right here.
You have to be strong. We have come to demand that Congress do the right thing and only count the electors who have been lawfully slated. Lawfully slated. I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. Today we will see whether Republicans stand for integrity of our elections.
Listen again. Listen.
I know that everyone here will soon be marching over to the Capitol building to peacefully and patriotically make your voices heard. Today we will see whether Republicans stand strong for integrity of our elections.
You see that? You see that? Now, why did NBC do that? Why did they do that? Why did they clip the video? Why did the exact same video, they clipped it and just played that part? Why? They want you to believe a certain narrative. That's why, saints, we got to be more sharper than that. We can't be so easily gullible and deceived, because the media has got you in a frenzy and got you in your feelings about somebody. Now you dull of hearing, blind, because your feelings prevent you from perceiving truth. They clipped the video. The man said they were going down peacefully and patriotically. to the White House. That's what he said. Now, you know what I thought about? And I'm about to close. And I know people get mad at me even making this comparison, but hey, get mad. You know what I thought about? I wrote this down because I thought about this. Do we accuse Jesus of our rebellion and misbehaving when we do not obey what he says? Think about that now. Do we accuse Jesus of our rebellion and misbehaving when we don't do what he say? Now, what are you saying? Trump says we're going down there peacefully and patriotically and let our voices be heard. So now, all of the people that didn't act in a peaceful and patriotic way, he didn't encourage that because that's not what he told them to do. Now, some of them definitely didn't act patriotically or peacefully. They broke the law. That's true. But why is he being held for what people did of their own accord? You know how much time Jesus done told us something to do, and we turned around and did the opposite? Are we blaming Jesus because I didn't do what he told me to do? Did he tell me to lie on that application? Y'all see what I'm saying? Did he tell me to commit adultery, to lie, to be a fornicator? He ain't told me to do none of that. But I turn around and do some of it anyway. How you gonna blame him? That's my point with this right here. Why do you blame Trump for something when he said we're going out there peacefully and patriotic? Because the media got us in a frenzy about things that the man was right about. And people don't want to humble themselves and admit he was right and you were wrong. He was right and I might have been wrong. Now there are some things he got wrong. Yes. But the things he got right, let's give the man credit and let's not allow the media to make you believe otherwise. If somebody's right about something, use your own God-given discernment. And if you recognize and know they're right about something, you stand with that. All right. I'm getting off of here. President Trump was right about a lot of things. Give the man credit for what he's been right about. What he's wrong about, criticize him. He's rightfully criticizing. All right. Thank y'all for watching. Y'all be blessed. See you again on the next time. God bless you.